Hi guys, this is Mattias, and I'm coming at you here with a video about the balance between air and ground, anti-air and planes. And this is something that was changed quite a lot actually in the Giants Shadow patch now in December. But the way I see it, there are a few obstacles that are hindering DICE from getting the balance the way most of us wants it. Now the one problem that I want to focus on in this particular video is the difference between the game mode Conquest and the new mode Operations, and how they are too different from each other's for any balance changes to have the desired effects on the game as a whole. The footage in this video is going to be from the game mode Operations, and the reason why I'm not showing you anything from Conquest is because that is the game mode that I've been playing almost exclusively since launch. Basically, all other Battlefield 1 content on this channel is from Conquest. So now, what is the difference when it comes to flying between Conquest and Operations? Well, basically it's this. It is a lot easier to do good when flying in Operations compared to Conquest. The difference is massive, and I think this is one of the problems when it comes to discussing this. Whenever people refer to pilots having 120 plus kill streaks or whatnot, that is exclusively from Operations. And I can assure you, it is a lot easier to get 100 kills as a pilot in Operations than to get 50 kills as a pilot flying in Conquest. So now what that means is that whenever there are changes made to planes and anti-air, it's going to strike very differently for players in one game mode compared to in the other. Now on the other hand, when it comes to the air-to-air gameplay, the balance is of course a lot more similar. For example, the gun that I'm using here, the rear gun of the attack plane, has been nerfed, and whether you fly in Operations or in Conquest, I think the effect is basically the same. And I also think that DICE were able to get it where it needs to be, or at least close to it. So now let me explain the specific reasons why it is easier to do good as a pilot in Operations. First and foremost, there is less anti-air, and the anti-air in Operations is going to come from just one direction. You're going to know where it is. While in Conquest, at least on most maps, anti-air is all over the place, which means that it's a lot easier for players on the ground to catch you off guard. Now another thing that makes it a lot easier to do good in Operations is that infantry players are also going to be a lot more predictable. Players just simply get more clumped up in choke points a lot more, and there are less capture points for the players to spread out between. Now on top of that, players on the ground are also spotted a lot more in Operations than they are in Conquest, and this is a big difference. Obviously, it's easier in Operations for scouts to know in what direction they should always shoot their flare guns. And I guess when in doubt, just shoot it over a capture point. Now I think that a lot of the toxicity and a lot of the very negative vibes that we've had on the forums, on Reddit and some such, when it comes to the balance discussion between players that normally never spawn planes and pilots, is based on misunderstanding between these two different game modes. Now for a player that exclusively plays Operations and who gets killed over and over again by planes, probably doesn't see much logic in the recent range reduction of anti-air. And the way I see it, it's not that anti-air needs to be more powerful or have more range, it's that in Operations, people on the ground needs more options to counter planes. Now an initial thought that I had was that instead of adding more of the QF1AA, which is the normal anti-air cannon, why not add a few guns on the ground that are similar or identical to the guns that you have on top of the Behemoth airship. And now as much as the balance can probably be found with the regular anti-air cannon, for whatever reason, anti-air has a tendency to always be the most boring and skillless weapon in almost every game where it exists. And I'm not saying that my suggestion is the solution to this, but if there is ever any need for more anti-air, then at least change it up to something different. And please, give it some resemblance of skill requirement for the player using it. Oh, what? He can aim that fucking high? What? So I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there that have a lot better and more suggestions than I have. And also, do you agree with what I've said about this topic? And if not, why? Now, I'm not gonna lie. I do not envy the poor guys working on DICE and who are responsible for balancing this game. That must be one hell of a tough job. Anyway, I really hope that this video adds to the constructiveness of this discussion. I hope you have enjoyed watching it and that you will continue watching the rest of the few minutes that are left. My name is Mattias, and I want to thank you all for watching.
AD strategy is really strong on this game. It's too strong.
Oh yeah.
We have lost objective apples.
Quite a number of kills there.
Wow. These medics just don't give a fuck.
Why are they shooting back? Can't they see I'm friendly?
We have taken objective Charlie. Taken objective butter.
Now someone is loving you in the chat.
Alright, turned it off I think. Oh shit. Matti is go. Yeah, he's angry. Where could they be now? Oh, I see them. Here somewhere.
Wait,
I
no
don't
one
know.
else? He wins.
He wins.
Just push the door with a
tank gun.
Oh my god, this guy's...
Oh, they have an anti-air gun behind A there, okay.
Move! Oh my god, these guys are so stupid.
It's complicated, man.
We have taken the sector.
They don't understand the mechanic.
Clear the sector from enemy presence. We have secured the sector.
Quello è l'obiettivo! Deve essere conquistato!
Oh, anti-air. Now the problem is that I don't really know where the anti-air actually is. Oh shit, he's trying to shoot me with a big gun. No, no, don't shoot me. Stop it. I'm friendly. I'm friendly.
Una batteria d'artiglieria! Attenzione!
Lot of points. How do you fly so good anyway? I get shot down 5 seconds after spawn. If there's something that you want to learn about flying, like if you're uncertain, first thing I would recommend is to check out my tutorials. Get your settings the way you want them, the way I explain it, and then try to just control the plane on an empty server first. That's the first way to go by, I think. Like, your settings is very important. You're drawing a conclusion about the nerf to the plane's rear gunner. I've killed a few. My conclusion is that it's in a more balanced state. It is still a viable strategy, but it's not like straight up overpowered. That's what I would say initially. I'm not gonna write that in stone, but initially.